Welcome to Beyond the Glow, a Clear Essence skincare podcast, your go-to source for radiant, healthy skin. At Clear Essence, we specialize in scientifically formulated skincare designed for melanin-rich skin, tackling concerns like hyperpigmentation, acne, and uneven tone. Stay tuned as we share expert tips, product spotlights, and real skincare solutions.
Welcome back, listeners. On today's episode, we have CJ Obioha. He's a former Clear Essence employee, and he's now working in the cannabis industry. So this is going to be a really interesting conversation, and I can't wait to get started. Hi, CJ.
What up? What up? How you guys doing?
We're so happy to have you on here. I've been looking forward to this conversation all week, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Same.
So just to start, how would you explain CBD to someone who's, never heard of it or doesn't have any dealings with, CBD in the past?
So, I mean, the easy way I would explain it is it's the opposite of THC. And THC is what gets you high, if you want to use that word. That's just the word we use in the industry. And CBD is more of the non-psychoactive. You're not going to get high. It's mainly about relief and just dealing with anxiety, pain, inflammation. So it's really like the medicinal side of the plant, and it's the side of the plant that there's a lot more research coming behind it, that how CBD helps people, and so it's exciting to be in the industry and see research on both ends. THC, of course, the benefits of THC. It's pain relief also, but also CBD. Learning about that side has been cool too.
And I guess it's sort of a baby industry still, but from your experience, what would you say is the differences between the different types of it? I know there's hemp derived, full spectrum.
It kind of all deals with how much THC is in it. I mean, the hemp derived one is extracted straight from the hemp plant, so it has less than 0.3 THC, so that's why it's legal. I mean, you can find a lot of hemp derived CBD a lot of places. CBD is legal in general, but hemp derived is much more, readily available. Full spectrum is going to contain all the cannabinoids found in the plant, and still includes a small amount of THC. So that's what full spectrum. Broad spectrum contains multiple cannabinoids and terpenes, but THC is removed. So, it still gives you a little bit of the effect, but due to the lack of THC, it's kind of just an appetizer, I'd say. And then CBD isolate, that's when you're just literally just pure CBD, which is, you can find it, it's a little pricey though. It's a little pricey.
Which of the different types are used in skincare?
A lot of the ones you're going to find in skincare will be, either hemp derived or, full spectrum as well. Some people will go far enough to just do the isolate, which is, it's a real medicinal, approach to it. But most of the time it's going to be the hemp derived or, full spectrum, just depending on, which way the brand is trying to go.
What does it typically do in skin products? Because I'm seeing CBD used more and more in skin products now. And obviously I work at Clear Essence, so I know a bit about the products we have that have CBD, but just for the listener who might not be in the know, how does it interact with our system, and why does it matter for skin health?
So, great question. CBD in general, it interacts with our endocannabinoid system. That's what kind of regulates our sleep, our mood, and all that. So, anytime THC CBD is introduced to the body, it is going to in this case, for skincare, it's usually about relaxing. It's about soothing the skin and just really relaxing the user in a sense, so that they can get ready for their day or get ready to call it a day. So that's how I look at products that have CBD. It's just somewhat helping you get your day started or ending your day, just in terms of relaxation and rejuvenation. And so everyday wellness, that's kind of what CBD is really about. It's just kind of touching the parts of your body and your mind that need some just need a little loving.
Yeah, I love that. It kind of injects a bit of wellness into your skincare, which is, amazing. What would you say, as someone who works in the industry, what should consumers look for on a label to ensure that they're getting high quality, effective CBD that's on the just taking it side, but then also on the skincare side, is there a way to know as well that, the CBD that's in this certain skincare product is of a good quality?
Great question. I mean, the first thing you want to check is package date, package date, package date. When it comes to THC products, CBD products, you definitely want to check the package date because, it's just it's sometimes a slow moving product in the store you're looking at. So they may have had that for a while and they're trying to move it. So, I always tell people check the package dates because you don't want to like buy something that's like almost at the end of its shelf life. So you don't even get to use the whole thing. So that's the first thing is like package date. Second thing, there should be somewhere on the packaging where it says, the type of CBD and, very clear, very, not trying to be too discreet in a sense. Well, it's like a CBD. So it's not something you need to be quiet about. So it should be readily, you should see it on the packaging. You should be able to go to their website, see their, process of, how they use it. They should talk about it. But because it's not federally legal, there isn't like a federal like stamp. There's not like a, FDA, you know what I mean? There isn't that yet. So, you do want to do your research in general before you purchase, any THC CBD product. You want to do a little research, just read some reviews and just make sure you're buying it from a reputable source in the store.
Right.
Any legal dispensary, you're already going in the right direction. Because, the company I work for, we have a couple retailers. I used to work in the retailers, and every product that comes in the store, there's testing that comes with it, like documentation and all that. So, you definitely want to be buying it from a dispensary, so that it's legitimate for the most part. It's been tested, proven, and in a sense, track and traced. You know what I mean? That's one of the big things in the cannabis industry is tracking, that product, that isolate from the farm to the store to the customer's hands. So it's like you always want to just put yourself in good hands when purchasing these kind of products. So package date, reputable store, make sure it's on the label really clear, and they're not trying to be shady about it. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I really wanted to have you on, just because there is still that stigma around it, I would say, and just not, knowing so much about it because previously it's been a bit of like a hush hush, you know what I mean? It's almost like the industry
Right.
thrived in the
It's still
past on
taboo.
that,
It is still.
yeah. So it's getting it all out in the open and talking about it openly and then saying, if you want to use it, let's start putting everything out there so that there isn't that space for bad players, I guess, in the market to kind of muddy the waters, if that makes sense. What would you say is, I know because you worked at Claire Essence, so I'm sure you also had a little bit of a play in our products that do have CBD in it. What would you say is a delivery format that you works best for the skin in terms of skincare products that have CBD in them? A serum versus a cream versus an oil? What would you say, in your experience, works best?
So what I've seen in the industry is balms. You see a lot of balms. That's where you see a lot of the CBD and THC also, being applicated to the skin is through balms. There are oils. There's definitely like body oils. I've also seen kind of like especially like for like if you have pain, like THC, like roll on, kind of like icy hot, like you can roll it on your skin. They have those. There's also like patches, where you put the patches on areas where you have pain. So the best application is directly to the skin, so it can be absorbed by the pores and go to work. You know what I mean? Whereas
Yeah.
like your THC like products, you'll feel it kind of in the couple 10, 15 minutes. CBD products, it's more of like an ongoing thing that you're trying to treat. So it's just, you apply it as, you go and, it's just kind of, an everyday thing that you're just trying to treat and kind of keep it at a level that's not too, bothersome or anything like that. But just
Yeah.
directly to the skin.
Yeah. And how would you recommend integrating these products into like an already existing, let's say, skincare routine? Like what would be like the ideal pairing? Because like you said, it's not like a THC that's like an almost instant thing. And it's like this is sort of like a longer term, I guess, throughout the day. How would you recommend the best way to incorporate the products into the customers routine?
Well, yeah, first you want to know your skin type. You know what I mean? It always starts with knowing your skin type because I mean, if you have sensitive skin, then it may take a little more research, or you might need to actually get a prescription, which is just so it's safer for your skin. Of course, if you have oily skin, using the oil, you got to be a little bit careful about that. Not putting it too much where you're clogging your pores. So, working it into your skincare regimen, depends on, what exactly you're trying to treat. You know what I mean? When it comes to CBD, it is somewhat of like a treatment product. So if you just overall just kind of looking for something that's gonna, especially at the end of the day, you're just like, at the end of the day, I just want to kind of decompress. I just, I really need something that's gonna just, give me that feeling. And, one of the things I love about the body oil is, I mean, the one that I use sometimes is, it's very lightweight, and right when you get out of like a hot shower, you can put it on, and you can, like I said, you can sometimes start to feel it work. So I mean, I would say introducing it to like kind of a nighttime regimen, just so any effects that you go through, you're at home, it's all good. Not saying you're gonna have any crazy effects, but just the sensations you might have after applying a THC body oil to your whole body. After you'll feel a little tingly, you'll feel a little, So I would definitely say start with kind of like a nighttime regimen, and then go from there in terms of how you want to use it throughout the day.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I feel like the safety and the how to, a lot of people don't know when it comes to these kind of products. Are there any like safety concerns or, side effects? I know you said that, of course, it's better to start in the evening where you're able to kind of relax and like, ease into the effects of it, especially as a beginner. But are there any safety concerns or like, side effects that people should be aware of when using CBD? Let's start with using it topically.
Yeah, not really. I mean, CBD creams, oils, all that. I mean, honestly, it's you just want to follow the instructions on the packaging. I mean, it's really one of the I would say like the safest products in a sense when it comes to the cannabis industry. CBD is just really about everyday wellness. So I mean, nothing. Again, the major safety concern is just that you're buying it from a reputable source, and it's
Right.
not expired and that kind of stuff. That's where it kind of starts.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think a lot of it with this industry is just it's the nature of something being taboo to where I think people might see it as, this something that it's really not.
The plant is just like lavender. The effects of lavender. People use lavender to relax. It's kind of the same. It's just
Yeah,
this plant does have another side to it that is what they call psychoactive, where it will
right.
definitely get you. There's definitely that side of it, but the CBD side of it to me is the more medicinal. It's like
Yes,
like lavender. It's
exactly.
like it's more of this natural, just
Mm-hmm.
plant based,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Holistic wellness, really. Yeah. How do you like navigate the patchwork of global regulations around CBD and cosmetics? Because I know, in some places it's totally fine, in others, and and then when you think about if you have customers all around the world, and then some places, how are you able to navigate that as someone that works within the industry?
Yeah. So I mean, the industry is somewhat regulated in a sense where it's like each state has its own kind of like rules and regulations and even products. I mean, I've recently been working in the New Jersey market, and they have a whole different regulation, whole different slew of products, whole different just way of doing business in a sense. So, you know what I mean? It kind of just comes down to doing good business. I mean, making sure you're following the rules and regulations. There's something called the DCC. It's like the Department of Cannabis Control. So you just want to stay in line with with them and make sure that you're doing everything on the up and up. You know what I mean? I mentioned track and trace at the beginning of this, and that's a big thing. Is like they want to be able to literally track and trace every product that goes through that
Right.
store and make sure that you're not putting it in the wrong hands or in a sense abusing the system. So I mean, there is I guess there is support in navigating the market in a sense, because each state has like a regulatory board, and it's becoming much more and more like kind of regulated as time
Regulated,
goes on.
yeah. Yeah. And then in the case of, skincare that has CBD in it, what questions do you think consumers can ask brands in order to verify, third-party testing and legal compliance and things
Yeah.
like that? Because I guess it's different than buying it sort of like, at a dispensary just for using directly. But when it's like CBD infused skincare, I guess there's a little bit less control in terms of, the consumer knowing, like you said, the track and tracing and all of that. What questions can they go to their skincare brands to say, tell me more?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, what kind of CBD is in that? Because we talked about all the different types of CBDs. So it's like, first and foremost, what type of CBD is that, and understanding that, that's a great question. And then how much CBD is in this product? Because I mean, you could just put CBD on a product, but there's only like, you know, 0.10 or 10% of the whole product. You don't know. So I mean, you want to kind of understand like what type of CBD, actually how much CBD is in this. You know what I mean? And of course, that's you can do your research from those two things, and then make your decision to make a purchase.
Yeah. What skincare trends, CBD specific skincare trends, are you watching for right now?
So I mean, right now in the industry, like there's new products coming out all the time, and like with CBD, just because it is applied either orally or right on the skin, it's usually going to either be like in a balm, an oil, or a tincture.
Mm.
I don't, or there's gummies, of course, but that takes a little
Hmm.
bit longer, of course, because you got to go through the whole digestion thing. So that's why when it comes to
Right.
CBD, it's usually infused into a balm and an oil, or again, just literally just straight, CBD as a tincture, just so, it can be easily absorbed and, like I said, going straight to work. But if I could just like kind of think off the top of my head, like a CBD drink. I mean, I've seen some CBD drinks. I've seen some here and there. So you might see some more CBD drinks, and I think that's probably what people are going to be more attracted to first, is just trying a CBD drink, CBD infused water, and then going from there.
Right. Yeah. Start off slow and like work your way up, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah. I feel like now, like in the internet age, just like anything new, there's always so much discourse online about it, true or false, like what like hype or like, missteps around CBD in beauty and in skincare would you caution our listeners about to watch out for?
I wouldn't necessarily look at it as like a beauty product. I think it's more, doing that on the inside, if that makes sense.
Mm,
It's
mm,
not like, it's not like you're gonna put CBD cream on and your skin is just gonna be, clear essence flawless.
yeah. Yeah.
It's more of an internal thing. To me, it's like a medicinal
Yes.
thing that helps. Of course, you apply it to the skin. It's made with some type of oil and water, so it's gonna moisturize in a sense, but it's more helping. I feel like internally. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't
Yes.
look at it as like a straight beauty product. Like
Hmm.
it's more of like a wellness product, like we said.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, I guess they do, at the end of the day, they do go hand in hand, don't they? But your point being, it's not a take this and your skin is going to be transformed immediately. It's like a longer term wellness
Yeah.
product. Where do you see the next frontier? I know you've said that, I mean, really it's the CBD is infused in creams and oils and balms and things like that. But is there sort of new research, in how it can be used in dermatology or cosmetology that you
Yeah,
can share
yeah.
with
I,
us?
I was about to say, like, I have heard about like some CBD facials, and like, it became being introduced at spas, and so I definitely see, CBD facials and massages, and that definitely going to start seeing more and more of that. You know what I mean? Just in a sense, for the cannabis consumer who already knows about it, they'll
Yes.
say, "Oh, perfect. Yes, let me get that one." I know about CBD. So I think as marijuana just becomes much and more popular, more readily used, you're going to just see it, of course, just where we shop, where we, relax, you're going to see it everywhere, honestly. So it's an exciting time in the industry, and, I'm definitely glad to be in it, and, always got love for
Yeah.
Clear Essence.
I mean, it sounds exciting. It really does. Like if the listener could take away just one thing, about CBD and about their skin from you, what would it be?
That I mean, CBD is it's more of the medicinal side of the plant. You know what I mean? So if you're looking to provide your skin with everyday wellness, in a sense, both topically and in a sense internally, CBD is definitely a great way to go. You know what I mean? So definitely explore CBD first before you even get to the THC side first. You know what I mean? Like really understand what it's about, and then you'll understand the plan a whole. And I think that will just make anytime you're shopping in the market, you'll understand it more and be more confident. And I think that's the key, in
Mm,
shopping in this industry is being confident in what you purchase. And so
right.
if you ever have any type of need for help, reach out to a local dispensary, stop by, just talk to them. I mean, there's a lot of knowledge in those stores, honestly. So I
Mm.
hope everybody visits their local dispensary soon and, ask about CBD.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, CJ. This is so, so cool. A very different
Thank you, Dara.
conversation,
Thank
but
you.
I feel like super necessary and super informative. So thank you so much for
Definitely.
joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you so much, Dara. Thank you.
Okay, we're not done yet. I have a special discount for you all. Buy one of our My Natural Beauty activated charcoal bar soap infused with CBD and get one free. Just add the soap to cart and use code CBD at checkout on clearessence.com. That's it for today's episode. Remember, healthy skin starts with the right product. Explore our full skincare collection at clearessence.com and use our store locator to find Clear Essence near you. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us for more skincare insights. Until next time, keep glowing with Clear Essence.